time, so I'm going to go ahead and begin. Now, you should have already created an account for your Cal State application. They did just open up today, okay? So when you just Google Cal State application and click on the link, this is the section that you are going to be taken to, all right? So from here, what we're doing is we are selecting Fall 2021. And then once we click on the Apply button, it's going to take you to the section where you can log in, okay? So when you are creating your account, there is an extended profile section of questions that you need to answer, okay? This is what it looks like once you've already created your account. But for those of you that have not created it yet, I just want to take you to the extended profile section and show you the questions that they ask so that you can be sure you are answering them in the correct way, okay? So from the section up here where it has your name, we can click the drop-down menu, which it gives you your profile information, which is just your general information that you have filled out when you created your account, okay? So you're going to notice it's going to give you your first name, last name, and contact information, email address, phone number, and then you're just doing an authorization of text, or they can call you, but again, you're usually not going to get phone calls. It could be text if that. And then you're going to have your account information such as your username and password, and then they have a European Union data protection question as well, which would be no for everybody, okay? But then there's the extended profile section to the left here. This is the part, it's really important that you answer these correctly because otherwise when you're filling in your information about your academics, it's not going to give you the correct options, okay? So for degree goal, it says what degree, credential, or certificate are you applying for? Everybody is going to be a first bachelor's degree, okay? So it just means you're seeking your first bachelor's degree, you have not attended college before, and you don't currently have a degree, okay? And then when they're going to ask you about your educational status, you're going to be a graduating high school senior, okay? And then you'll notice here it's going to say with or without college coursework prior to high school graduation. So what they mean by this is for college coursework, it is specifically community college courses, okay? This is not AP, all right? So if you have not taken any college coursework, then that's fine that we're gonna get down to that section, okay? But again, everybody should be a graduating high school senior. Obviously, if you're transferring from a community college, then that's gonna be different, okay? Now, right below that, when you select these boxes, next it's going to be, have you taken and earned college credits through a community college or university? So again, specifically community college courses, not AP classes. Okay. Another question, are you applying to return to the CSU campus, which should be a no for everybody, okay? They are going to ask you about your US military status, then they're going to ask you about your residency, all right? So this would be really for international students right here. And if you're applying for like a student visa, which we don't have international students, so everybody would be a no. And then they want to know what state is your permanent home, okay? So again, you just need to make sure that you have selected first bachelor's degree, graduating high school senior, and then if they ask about taken or earned college credits, it's specifically community college, not AP. Okay, so just make sure you have this filled out correctly before we get started with your application. All right. Now, in order to add colleges and programs to the application, we're going to go into the section here where it says add program. Okay, this is where you are able to add all of the different Cal States you are applying to and to select the majors that you are applying under. All right. So what we're able to do here is if we wanted to type in the school's name, we can select San Diego, and you're going to notice here it's giving me San Diego undergraduate with the bachelor's degree type, the start term being fall, and academic year being 2021, okay? So this is what you want to select your major from, right? So just as an example, I'm going to go ahead and click on astronomy. And then when you scroll to the bottom, see, it's going to take you through all the different programs. Now, you are prompted to add at least one school when you create your account, or one program. So this is the way that you're going to go through and add all the additional, all right? So you're able to go through and look through all the different majors that they have to offer. Now, once you have selected it, you're going to see a green check mark, okay, next to astronomy. And then we're going to go ahead and click on add program. So now I'm going to have that on my application, okay? And the way for you to check that is if you go back to application right here, we can go into program materials, okay? And I'm going to be going through this section at the end, but for program materials, what you're going to find here is they're listing Long Beach undergraduate for aerospace engineering, just because I had previously added that when I created my account. And then just now I selected San Diego undergraduate astronomy. Okay, so this is where you can go through in the program materials and make sure you have all of your colleges listed that you're applying to for Cal States, and then all of your majors selected as well. All right, so now if I exit out of here, it's going to take me to the main home page, which is where we're going to go through each section while filling out your applications. Okay, so we always start with your personal information. Okay. Again, this is just very general, basic information. It should be very straightforward for you, okay? There's nothing tricky about this. The part that I would say is the trickiest when it comes to this application is filling in your coursework and your grades, okay? That is what takes the longest. Otherwise, everything else is pretty straightforward. Okay? So from here, we can click on release statement. All right, and now this is just some information that you need to read through, okay? It just means that everything you're filling out is accurate, you're not lying on your application. So we're able to go through here. Here they want to know about your CASP results, okay? So you can indicate that you have completed them and you agree to release your results, okay? And then release of contact information. So here again is you're just authorizing them to release your information to the Cal State campuses or any affiliates that they may have. And then once we click save and continue, it's going to ask us if we want to go on to the next section. So you should just be following through here. Right. Next is your biographic information. So this is based off of what I had filled out originally when I created the account. So you should have your first and last name listed there. They want to know if you have any alternate names. So this is similar to what I had mentioned on the common application and the UC application. If you have any other names that have been used for your academic records, whether that's at high school or that's College Board or ACT, you want to make sure that you do have those alternate names listed so they can make sure they link everything. But as I had mentioned before, it's best if you just have the same name on all documents. It's easier. So if there happen to be any changes, just go to your school and make sure that's updated. All right. Preferred name. Okay, so some people may go by like Amelia and their preferred name is Amy. So you can put your preferred name here if you'd like. All right. They want to know legal sex information, your date of birth. So here we can go through and we can select the specific year that you were born. I'm just going to do this as an example. Okay. The country that you were born in. All right. The city as well. The state. Oops. And then the county. Okay. Now, so applicant information, these are just some general questions that you would go through and answer. I would say probably 99% of you, all of these would be no, okay? But obviously make sure that you read through and you're answering all these questions, all right? contact information. So they want to know your current address. Okay, so again, what you're doing here is you want to enter in the address for the parent that you are living with. And if they are divorced, it's going to be the parent whose financial information is being used on the application. Okay. So if you guys want to go through and enter this information in. Now, if you have, there's certain addresses where they will auto-correct you, okay? Just keep that in mind. So we can go ahead and indicate, yes. And the approximate date through which the current address is valid, it's not required. You don't have to fill this out. If you were going to select something, it should be August of 2021, which would just be the date that you would be leaving for college, okay? They want to know if it's your permanent address, so it should say, you should say yes. I don't recommend necessarily using a PO box unless you check that every day, just because application materials are going to be sent through that, okay? Phone number, again, phone number and email is going to be filled in based off of how you created your account. And then comes citizenship information, okay? For those of you that may not be US citizens and you were born outside of the US, they want to know what year you moved here. And that's more for residency and tuition purposes. They want to make sure you didn't move here just, 6 months ago and you're trying to get in-state tuition. Okay. Do you claim California residency? Again, that's based off of me indicating California. If you live in another state, they're going to ask you about that specific state. Race and ethnicity. So this information shouldn't be too difficult, okay? Now here, some of the questions I get from students is, should I add both of my parents on the application? It's not required, but again, they do want you to go ahead and list at least one parent. There is the option to select that they are informed of anything that's needed when it comes to the application process, but you should be adding at least one parent because you are considered dependent students. Guys, I'm so sorry. Just 1 second. Savannah, go out, baby. I apologize, guys. Okay, next we have other information, okay? And here is where you are going to be entering in your social security number, okay? Your statewide student ID, okay? This is the one that I had mentioned for the UC application, all right? So the California statewide student ID is the number that you are going to find on your official transcripts, okay? So it is not your high school student ID. There is a specific number, which is California statewide student. This is for students that are in public schools, okay? If you are in a private school, you will not have a California student identifier, all right? Language proficiency, okay? So this is where we can select the languages that you are proficient in, similar to the common application, okay? And then if you want to select multiple languages, you're able to do that, okay? Military status, that's based off of me creating my account, so it's already filled in there. And then there's military dependent questions. They want to know if you're a dependent of somebody who is currently serving or has previously served. So you would just go ahead and select the drop down and whatever answer applies to you. Okay. Next, they want to know if you're in good academic standing. It should be yes for everybody. Okay. And then there's academic infractions. So they just want to know if you've been on probation, if you've ever been disqualified from a college or university, which you guys have not attended any yet, and then suspensions. Now, teacher or other credential information. Okay, so they just want to know if you are interested in getting your teaching credentials. So for those of you that do want to be teachers, you can indicate planning to apply to a credential program at a later time. If you are not interested in getting teaching credentials, then you would just go ahead and check off not interested. Okay. The CalFresh program, you are going to need to click this link and see if you would be eligible for it first of all, okay? But they just want to know if it would be for like monthly food assistance, for example. Okay? And then the California Promise, okay? I recommend everybody say yes to this. So the California Promise, what they're doing is it's for California residents, first-time freshmen, so those of you that are coming out of senior year, okay, out of high school. And the California Promise, what they do is they are going to guarantee that you get your bachelor's degree in 4 years, okay? And the reason that that's important is you don't want to be paying for your bachelor's degree for 6 years. That's a lot of extra money out of pocket, and it's going to take away from you getting employment, okay? So you're paying more money to go to school for an additional 2 years, plus you're losing out on that income that you could be making in an actual job, okay? So when it comes to the California Promise, normally what that's going to entail is you're working closely with a counselor at the Cal State school, and you're planning out your curriculum based off of the majors that you've selected, okay? And so they just want you to be able to get out in 4 years. With Cal State, there's sometimes a problem with you not getting out in 4 years because the schools are so impacted that you can't get the courses that you need. But if you do the California Promise and you work closely with your counselor at the college and you meet all the requirements and you do what they say, you can get out in 4 years. So I always recommend you guys say yes to this. How did you hear about us? They just want to know some general information. It's more for marketing purposes, okay? And then we have the financial and parental information, okay? So you'll want to read through the statements here. Again, for most of you, it should all be none of the statements apply to me, okay? And then they want to know about the household size, okay? So this would be you, your parents, any siblings, all right? So I'm going to say 4 for now. And then they want to know about income information. So very similar to the UC application, the reason that they are asking about income is so that to see if you are eligible for fee waivers, okay? So be sure to speak with your parents. You can get the adjusted gross income information from their tax returns. Campus housing. So are you interested in on-campus housing if space is available? I always recommend you say that yes, even if you're not sure yet, okay? Unless you are, let's say you live in Thousand Oaks and you are applying to only Channel Islands because you want to live at home and go to school, then you can indicate no. But otherwise I would indicate yes, that you are interested in campus housing, okay? Next we have parents' education level. So we talked about this, Common App UC, again, it's whatever applies to your parents. So if they went to a 4-year college but never graduated and never got their degree, you can indicate high school graduate, okay? Same thing for community college. I know it gives you the option of a 2-year college graduate, but they did not get their 4-year degree. So again, you can indicate high school graduate. And then for those of you whose parents got their degrees in another country but did not get a degree here in the US, you can also say high school graduate. Okay. So now it's taken me to the education section, okay? As we keep continuing on when it says continue to next section, it's gonna just take you through the whole app, but I wanted to show you here. So now what we're going to see is based off of the personal information I filled in, it's telling me that 7/8 of these sections have been completed. Okay. And what you're able to do is you can go back in and see which ones have the check marks next to it and which one you need to complete. The reason that this does not have a check mark next to it is because I did not put any parents' information in right now. Okay. So it will not allow you to submit your application unless you have a check mark for every section. Next, we have academic history. So this is the section that takes the longest. Okay. Now, first, we're going to go ahead and go into high schools attended. Okay. So I'm going to go just a tiny bit slower for this particular portion here so that if you guys are following along on your application, you are able to enter in your information. Okay. So we're going to click on Add High School. They're going to go based off of obviously the country that you've already selected, and then we're going to go ahead and pick the specific state. And then you could use the search tool and fill that in. The dates attended, so it should be 2017. Whether that was August or September, it's up to your school. Okay, so we can go ahead and go on in and select August of 2017. And your end date, it's usually going to be May or June of 21. So you just want to check the date that you guys are going to be graduating. Okay. Okay. Now they're asking about term type. Okay, so again, most of you are in a semester system. I don't typically see like quarter, trimester, or full year. So semester system is going to be what you select, and then you can click on Save This School. Okay. If you have attended more than one high school, whether that's you're taking classes through Apex or BYU Independent Study, or you attended a different high school freshman year and then moved to your current one sophomore year, you can go ahead and add more high schools if you need to. Okay. So here it's I have or will graduate with my high school diploma. I have or will have a high school equivalency, or I will not be receiving a high school diploma. Everybody should be selecting the first one here. I have or will graduate with my high school diploma. Okay. You're selecting your high school, which is going to be from the drop-down menu based off of what you've already selected here. So if you have multiple high schools listed there, it's going to be your most recent. Okay. And then the date received or expected. Again, this is going to be based off of when you guys are graduating. So I had indicated May of 2021 up here for my end date. So I'm going to be putting that down as the date received for the high school diploma. Okay. So they want to know if you attended any high schools or secondary schools outside of the US. Again, I think it's 99% of you, it's going to be no. Okay. And then now it's going to be colleges attended. Okay, so if you did go to Pierce, for example, or Moorpark, this is where we can go ahead and add the college. They want to know if you obtained a degree or are planning to, which is going to be a no because you were just taking courses there. They are on a semester system. And then they want to know what your first semester was and your last semester, okay? So if we're taking it during the fall semester, or let's just say spring. So spring would have been January of 2020. And last semester, I can go ahead and end with spring as well, which is going to be January of 20. That's just if I took one semester. Okay. If you are still attending the college or university, meaning that you are taking courses there currently with your high school classes, then you can go ahead and check the box. Let me see. Sorry, let's see. The end date must be later than the start date. Spring. Okay. So we can say the last. They've changed it this year. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I just did the wrong on the date. So May, typically community college courses are May. So spring, May of 20. Okay. All right, now we have high school coursework, okay? So again, this tends to be the most confusing part for students, all right? You're gonna see here in this top section, report all courses that will be used to satisfy the A through G subject requirements. Do not include non-college preparatory courses such as health or physical education. Okay, so please keep that in mind. You are not including PE, you are not including health, okay? It's similar to the UC application, all right? And then you're also gonna see here, okay, any math, algebra or higher, and or language other than English taken in middle school and have continued the course progression into ninth should be entered in your application to receive consideration. These courses should be entered as high school coursework and assigned to an A through G area, okay? So what this is if you took Algebra 1 or geometry in middle school, you're gonna be entering that in. If you took Spanish 1 in middle school, you're gonna be entering that in as well, or French, or whatever language it was that you took, okay? So here we're gonna go ahead and enter in the grade level, all right? So if we start here with ninth grade, okay, and we're gonna see the academic year is 17 and 18, okay? Now, once you've done that, we're gonna go ahead and click on the check mark, okay? Next, we have course title. Now, what you can begin doing is you can type in the course that you have on your transcript, right? So if I just type in English for now, you're gonna notice that there's a drop-down menu that you can select, okay? I recommend that you always select from the drop-down menu, because what this does is on the left-hand side, you're gonna see a section in the blue where it says A through G matching. If you are selecting from your drop-down menu, it's gonna match with an A through G subject requirement. If you're typing it in on your own, you're gonna have to manually go in and do that, okay? Which it's not a problem. Obviously, we're gonna be checking the applications and making sure that it's done correctly. But again, you should be selecting from the drop-down menu if you can, okay? So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and click on English 9 AB. And the course type here is where we are gonna go ahead and indicate whether it's AP, IB, or honors, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and select the grades. Now, for the Cal State schools, they allow us to select plus or minus, as well as just the plain letter grade. So you're gonna be doing this based off of what your actual transcript says, okay? And then once you've entered in your grades, you're gonna go ahead and select the green check mark again. And now you have your grades entered in the black. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to be going through and you're going to enter in all of the classes that you took from ninth grade, okay? So next, if I want to go ahead and enter in a science, for example, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So again, here, I type in chemistry and it gives me the drop-down menu, okay? I'm so sorry, one second. Savannah, get out now, please. So chemistry, now if you're gonna be selecting advanced placement, IB or honors, we can go ahead and select that. If it was just a regular CP class, then we're gonna go ahead and select none, okay? And again, we're entering in your fall semester and your spring semester grades and clicking on the check mark, okay? So once you've entered in your ninth grade, you're gonna move on to 10th, and then 11th and 12th. So I'm not going to add in 10th or 11th right now, but I do want to show you 12th grade, okay? So for 12th grade here, I'm going to go ahead and select 12th, and then you need to be sure that you are updating the year, okay? Which is going to be 2021. Now, when you're entering in your courses, so let's go ahead and put in English, okay? Here we can go ahead and select whether it's English 12 or it's AP, depending on what your school offers and what you're taking, right? And then if I automatically select AP English Lit, it's going to change the course type to AP. All right. Next, we have fall. So anything that you are currently taking, it needs to be in progress. Okay. Spring semester is going to be planned. So this is going to be the same as it is for the UC application. All right. Now I will show you government and econ as well, because that's a little bit different. Typically they're spread between first semester and second semester. They're split up. Okay. So if we wanted to go ahead and add government. Okay. Now, if I'm currently taking that, I'm going to say in progress. And if it switches over to economics, I'm going to go ahead and indicate no grade for spring semester. That means I'm currently taking Gov, but I will not be taking it in the spring. You don't want to put planned when you're switching to a completely different class. Next, you would add the second semester, which is going to be economics. Okay. We're going to say no grade for fall, and then for spring, we're going to go ahead and indicate planned. Okay. So 9th, 10th, and 11th are going to be very similar. Just make sure you have your transcripts in front of you and you're entering on all of your courses. 12th grade, in progress for fall, planned for spring. And now we can enter in your summer courses if you did take any. Okay. So if we want to put summer courses here, it's going to be summer grade level. So typically for your summer classes is after you have finished your 9th grade year, this summer is considered to be 10th grade. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and indicate 10th grade. And then the academic year, we're going to indicate 18-19 and check off the box here. And then you are able to put in your summer courses. Oops. So I'm just going to indicate psychology for now, okay? And you're able to put in your grades for that as well. I don't have any questions here. So I can click Save and Continue, all right? Now, college coursework, okay? If you did take any courses, which I did indicate for Pierce, okay? This is where you're going to go ahead and add in the courses that you took. So we can click on Start. Okay. If we want to add a semester, now remember I had put spring term of 20, which it's giving me the options here. Okay. And completion status was already completed. All right. They've added this. This is new this year. Normally you don't have to select anything. So I'm going to see if I get away with not doing it. Okay. Now add a course. This is where you're able to select your course number. So you should have your college transcripts in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and do. So Psych 1. Okay. And that relates to specifically Pierce based off of the information I put in. The course title, it automatically was plugged in under general psychology. Okay. And then they want to know what the subject is. So from the drop down here, I'm going to go ahead and indicate psychology. It's going to automatically factor in the amount of credits that you earned based off of the course code. Okay. They want to know the grade. So whether it was an A, B, okay. And then if it is transferable, okay. Here, so let me see, 3 credits. Now, if you had entered in multiple courses, then they're going to have that full menu there for you, okay? Now here you're going to see for any courses you took that fall outside of the typical academic statuses, choose freshman. So you'll notice that they are requiring me to select that. Now once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and click the Save button. And then we're going to have the first class that I took at a community college. If you've only taken one, then you're done. Otherwise, you're going to want to list the rest. Okay. All right. Now we have A through G matching. Okay. So this is the section that I had mentioned that if you are not selecting the course from the actual drop-down menu when you're putting in your high school coursework and grades, your A through G section is not going to match up, okay? This is where they confirm that you meet all of the requirements in order to be admitted into a Cal State school, okay? So you're gonna notice here for history, social science, 2 years are required. They've given me half a year right now, okay? The reason that it's indicating half a year is because they are counting government that I entered in as the history and social science, but the economics course is considered a college prep elective through the Cal State and the UC system, okay? If I had put in a full year of US history, then I would have a year's met right here in the A through G subtotal, okay? English, I had entered in 9th grade English as well as the senior year English. So that's why it's giving me 2 years. Okay, so you just need to go through and you need to make sure that you've met all the requirements here. All right, you're going to notice that only 2 years of language are required, but most of you will have 3, if not 4 years of language. Okay. College prep electives, again, they're counting economics as a college prep elective, but usually students are doing something like psychology or sociology as well. Okay, there's going to be different courses listed in the college prep electives. All right, and then what they're going to do for you is based off of the grades that you had input, they're going to tell you what your calculated GPA is. Okay, so they will calculate the GPA for you. And again, the Cal State and UC GPA, they use the same calculation, okay? So even though both of the applications are asking for your 9th grade courses and grades, that's not factored into the actual GPA calculation, all right? The GPA calculation is going to be 10th and 11th grade, and then you're allowed up to 8 semesters worth of honors or AP credit, and that's specific to what they approve for honors and AP, okay? One of the questions is, does UC calculate your GPA for you too? They do not calculate it on the application, but they would use the same GPA that the Cal State has calculated. Okay. Next, we have standardized tests, okay? So if you have not had the opportunity to take any standardized test, or you did take SAT or ACT, but you're not within the average range of where students have been admitted in the past, then you're gonna wanna go the optional route, okay? So here we can go ahead and click on, I am not adding any standardized test if you do not have anything, including no APs or IBs. But if you are adding tests in, then you're just gonna go ahead and click on add ACT. There's gonna be the AP, IB, or SAT, okay? So you can click on those there. So now this section would have been completed if I had gone through all of it, all right, but I didn't fill it all out just for time purposes. So the next section that we would have here is for supporting information, okay? So when it comes to the Cal State system and you're reporting your different activities, it's not going to be like the common application and the UC application where you are putting in all of your activities with descriptions. It's just very brief. They want to know the numbers of hours and hours that you've worked or extracurricular activities that you've participated in. So I will show you this. Okay. But again, you need to go through and you need to mark off any of these programs that you have participated in. Okay. Like I have a couple students that are in AVID program, but other than that, most of you will be no. Okay. Work information. This is actually paid work, okay? It's not volunteer work, it's not community service. If you have a job, they wanna know what was the average number of hours worked per week over the most recent 36 months, okay? Typically they ask for the most recent 24 months, but because of COVID, they've extended that because a lot of students aren't able to work right now. So here it would be 0. Or you could pick from the drop down here, 1 to 5, 11 to 15, 21 or more. So whatever applies to you, and you can average it out. If you work, 5 hours one week, but you work 10 hours another week, then you can go ahead and put between 6 to 10. Okay. Then we have extracurricular programs, hours of participation. So the way they ask you here is select the average number of hours per week you are or were involved in activities during the last 36 months. So again, you're going to go ahead and select 1 to 5, 6 to 10. You'll notice here it's clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, cheerleading, sports, extracurriculars such as community service, student government, yearbook. There are a lot of different options that you can choose from here. So you are going to be adding in the hours and averaging those out through everything that you are involved in. Okay, so a lot of you, if you're heavily involved in activities, whether it's inside or outside of school, or you do dance and you take 7 dance classes a week, then you're probably going to be at 21 or more hours. Okay. And then the question that goes along with that, if you are doing any hours through activities, is did you hold or have you held any leadership positions? So again, it could be class president, team captain, editor, treasurer, secretary. There's a lot of different options. So if you did hold any leadership activities, then you're going to want to go ahead and say yes here. Okay. And then here we have the Educational Opportunity Program. Okay, so you're going to notice the description here. So primary goal of Educational Opportunity Program is to improve access of low-income first-generation and historically disadvantaged students from California with potential for academic success by making higher education a possibility. Okay, so if you are interested in applying for EOP, you need to actually go onto their website and learn about the criteria and see if you are actually eligible to apply for that. Okay, so otherwise we can select no, and then we're going to hit save and continue. Okay, now I'm done with that particular section, and it's taken me to program materials. Okay, so you'll see the supporting information section, personal information section, very, very straightforward, not difficult at all. Program materials, these are completed for you already when you selected the school that you're applying to along with the major. Okay, so the most difficult part is going to be the academic history. And it gets a little tricky sometimes when you're going through, obviously, your courses and grades. So just make sure that you do have your most recent updated transcript in front of you. If your portals, they make it difficult for you to read over your courses and grades, and maybe everything's not listed there, I do suggest that you just go ahead and request an official copy from your counselor. That way you can see what is actually being sent to the schools, and you make sure that everything you have on there is updated. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so a question is it the average hours a week for all activities we are a part of combined? Yes. So whether that's dance, community service, sports, you're combining everything. So that's why I mentioned if you're very involved, you're most likely going to be at 21 or more hours. Okay. So I'm going to just go over one more time how to add a program for those of you that maybe joined a little bit late, just to show you. So if we are applying to more than one Cal State school, you're going to go ahead and click on Add Program here. We can type in the school's name. So let's do Sonoma. Okay. And then once I've selected Sonoma, on the left-hand side, you're going to see where it says Sonoma Undergraduate. And as you scroll down, you can select the specific major you're applying to. So once you've clicked the plus button, you're going to get a green check mark. Okay. Now, for this particular program here, you'll see this little menu popped up. Okay. There's an alternate program required. So some schools are going to want you to select an alternate program, especially if it's an impacted major or a popular one. Okay. So here you're going to see this program requires you to choose an alternate choice in case of over enrollment. You will be automatically enrolled in your second choice should this program become unavailable. Would you like to choose an alternate program now? I do recommend that you guys choose an alternate program. Okay, so we can go ahead and check off yes. And now it's going to have me select an alternate program here. In this case, you want to pick something that's similar, or if you have two different majors, maybe you have, let's see, biology for one, and then you have physics for another. Depending on what your interests are, you can select two different majors. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and just select economics, and then save this choice, and then I can click on add program. Okay. If I go back to my application, now you're going to see here that it's giving me program materials for Sonoma. It's not giving me a check mark, okay? So what we're able to do is there's a bunch of basic information just telling you when you're applying, what majors you've selected, okay? And then there's a second section here where they're letting you know if there are certain documents, all right? Now here you're going to see for required documents, there are no required documents for this program, but they're giving you the option to submit unofficial transcripts, okay? Because you are listing all of the courses and grades, you aren't required to do that, but if you wanted to upload it, you're more than welcome to. The way the Cal States work is similar to the UCs. You do not send official transcripts until they have request them from you, okay? So in that case, I can go ahead and say I'm not adding any documents. And now when I go back to my application, you're going to notice that I have 3 of 3 sections completed. Okay. So that's kind of just the general information for the Cal State application. If you guys have any questions, I'll sit on here for a few minutes if you guys want to go ahead and type them into the chat box. But otherwise, you guys are free to go. Thank you for taking time out of your evening, and I hope you guys all found this helpful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So one of the questions I have here is, do I need to complete a CAS? You don't. You can go ahead and indicate no in that section if you'd like. Okay, it's not going to be used for admissions purposes. Question, how do you find your student ID on your transcripts? So the state student ID is only found on official transcripts. You will not find them on like your Aries or Student Connect portal. So you need to have an official copy of your transcripts, or you can speak with your counselor and ask them what your state student ID is. Question from a student here is, I'm taking government from COC. Do I enter it here or in high school? You can go ahead and enter it under COC if that's where you're taking it. So you would put it as a college course. Now, Emily asked about freshman seminar. So they may accept it as an A through G. What you're going to need to do is when you're filling out your application on there, you can type in freshman seminar and see if it comes as a drop down, and then that would be included as an A through G. Otherwise, they may not count it for certain schools based off of curriculum. All right, so another question for academic section where we enter in the grades. I am in IB, so when I type in what is on my unofficial transcript, it does not show the class in the pop down. So should I click whatever is closest to my course or just manually enter it in? You can manually enter it in, but then the A through G matching section is going to need to be updated manually so that you are able to show whether that fits in the A requirement, the B requirement, or the C requirement. Okay. Another student is asking why application has different amount of sections than what's showing on your screen. Victoria, I'm not sure.
Yeah, hi. So basically when I was going through, I was looking at, so like under academic history, how yours says 4 out of 7 completed, mine says 2 out of 5.
Okay.
So there's not the same amount of sections on mine. Mine says high schools attended, academic information, high school coursework, A through G matching, and standardized testing. So it skips over both places where it talks about college.
Did you attend any community college courses?
I did not. Is that why?
That's why, yeah.
Because you clicked it on yours and I clicked it.
Exactly. You have to indicate whether or not you've taken community college courses, and if that's the case, then from there, they're going to add in those 2 sections. If not, then you're just entering your high school information.
Perfect. So I was just making sure that it wasn't because I put something wrong on.
No, if you didn't take community college courses, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course. I don't have anything else in the chat right now.
Thank you, Lindsay.
You're very welcome.